All right, so welcome back to the A to Z challenge. We're all the way up to W, which is for warring opinions. It turns out that when you're getting your work critiqued, when you're doing things like editing and before it's published, you're going to find that a lot of people have a lot of different things that they want to tell you about your book if you have them read it. So hopefully you do want them to read it because hopefully you're getting lots of feedback on your work before you're sending it out into the great big world. That way your critique partners can find your plot holes rather than your reviewers, because your reviewers will not be kind about it necessarily, whereas your critique partners might be. But one of the big problems is you have a group of people and they've all read it, and somebody says they love this part and somebody says they hate this part. It's the same part. And somebody says that it's the only reason that they continued reading, and somebody says that was the part where they threw the book down in anger and frustration. So when you have different opinions, and they're usually polar opposites, you're going to have to pick some ground for yourself, because people are going to want you to have taken action because they've done you this kindness of reading your book and offering you critique. And you sort of have to oblige some aspect of that because you did sort of beg them to read it, or maybe you offered to read some of their work in exchange or something. And so there's this feeling of obligation that you have, but you are also kind of paralyzed by this idea that you can't satisfy all the people. So when you have warring opinions, you're on the right track. That's always a good sign. When two people have completely different opinions about the same thing, that's always a good sign. Um, Sometimes not. Sometimes it's a terrible sign. But in your case, when we're talking about fixing up books and editing books, uh, now is the time to search your heart and feel if anybody's opinion resonates with you. If they sort of get your book, you'll understand the getting my book thing, or somebody got my book. You'll hear that statement all the time. You'll understand that more and more the further you get with writing, because there are people who just don't get your book and don't understand what you were trying to do with your book, and that's okay. That happens. I can admit freely that I've read books when I was a teenager, and then I read them again when I was an adult. And when I was a teenager, I did not like them, and when I was adult, I loved them because I got them when I was an adult, the way that I had not when I was a child. Well, a teenager, not a child. Those are different creatures, children and teenagers. So you want to find the one that resonates with you, the person who got your book, because that feedback is feedback that you can kind of put yourself behind. The thing you don't want to do is you don't want to try to please everyone. You can't do it. You can't please it, especially because they have two different opinions and you can't make them both happy. You have to find sort of this place where this is your vision for the book, and that's a point that you hadn't considered, or this is a direction that I could take my book and make it better or different or whatever. So when you have two different opinions, find the one that resonates with you, and you can still use pieces from the other one. You're going to feel like there's something from even the completely different opinions, that somebody has some aspect of it right. Don't try to please everybody. Remember, you're the person writing this book, and unless you're super lucky, when you get to the end of writing this book and you publish this book, that's not necessarily going to be like the end game. You're going to be like, oh, I published a book and now I'm done. I don't have to do any more work ever again. No, that's not going to happen. You're going to write a book, you're going to get it published, and then you're going to write another book and you're going to get that one published too. This is going to be kind of like the thing that you do where you get books written and then published. So you have to please yourself because you're going to be doing this process more than once. So you have to sort of stay true to you and learn how to recognize when somebody's feedback resonates inside you. All right, that's all we've got. So W for warring opinions. Good luck.